Seeking a place where young free, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Seeking a place where young free, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Seeking a place where young free, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Still watch what you say out your mouth, cause 50 shots still turn the gun out. I'm Mr. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Get that when I'm traveling. Six pack wood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Get that when I'm traveling. Six pack wood when I'm traveling. Seeking a place with young free, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Seeking a place with young free, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Seeking a place with young free, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Still watch what you say out your mouth, cause 50 shots still turn the gun out. I'm Mr. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Get that when I'm traveling. Six pack wood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Okay.
Check, 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 check. I don't even know if you can hear me well. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Salute to everybody in the building so far. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me all right. Let's get it, man. Salute, 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 salute.
Yeah.
Check.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, to tell a friend. DJ HAMP about to go live again. So hit the likes, my friend, on your way in. First off, salute the chat. And to all new cousins, welcome back. Heard you searching for the real, well, this is where it's at. The latest topics and panels, and brother, don't get sent to the bathroom. We got all the stats, too, back to facts in the morning or the afternoon. Tuesday, women's POV, 2 Fridays, there's a jamming tune. It's a community of real, and we better than the world news. This might be risky, I hope you know. This might be risky, let's go, let's go. This might be risky, no, I love you, real, I love it. This might be risky. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show.
Yo, what's good? Got to start on time today. I got a little bit of a compressed timeline, but I thought this was important to converse through as we continue to understand the landscape of the things that we're dealing with, you know, both on and off the internet as the country goes through different things, man. You know, I put this survival course together and I'm going to share it again, right? Because there's a lot of things that are being said, you know, in this video that we're about to look at and all that. That's interesting, you know. Post-cancel culture was the thing that popped out to me. Post-cancel culture, you know. So what does that mean if somebody think it's post-cancel culture? What is their conduct likely to be if they think there's no penalty for what happens to them? I'm going to show y'all a clip that I saw from Dearborn, Michigan. It's on Matt Walsh's channel, you know. You know, these are the black fatigue people. Black people are the problem in the United States of America, ignoring all other crime with the exception of gun violent crime, essentially, right? That's how they say, okay, Black people are killing each other. Black people are robbing stores, and therefore black people are the problem, while ignoring several other crimes that are more, or at the very least equally, if not more egregious and violent. You know, rape and molestation and etc. You know, but post cancel culture, you know, we saw the girl raise $1 million for calling a little boy a nigger and all that, you know. And so, but I'm just looking at if they thinking like that, what are the outcomes? I'm gonna show y'all again, like I said, from Dearborn, Michigan, the Matt Walsh, he was covering it, and he did a good job of kind of covering what happened there. But how I'm looking at it is different. You know, it's like a conversation that we were having. When violence is off the table, how do people act? They go to these places to antagonize these people and keep saying free speech, free speech, free speech. But you saying things, you trying to antagonize people, and then you invoke a response. People trying to point fingers and get people arrested, but you deserve that shit. But when you take the aspect of getting your ass whooped off the table, people are conducting themselves like assholes. And you see that shit over and over. Soon as people would know, hey, I could slap the shit out you for the foolish and salacious shit you saying and the disrespectful, demeaning shit you saying, how do people act? What do people do? But now people are abusing these rights, right, to antagonize people. And then when they get the response they were looking for, they want there to be penalty of perjury. I understand how the laws work. I'm just saying we could easily identify this shit. Because that shit is corny to me, you know? It's like you throw the rock, then you try to hide your hand and all that, right? I have this course that we set up because we sick of the fake outrage, right? We sick of it. If black people, if we really going through shit and we got enemies everywhere, but we don't know how to feed ourselves, protect ourselves, make a fire, trap food, fish, it's fake to me. So we set up this course. Let me show you guys this real quick. It's a 3-day survival course. All right. It's going to be held in Houston, Texas in January. So here's the Eventbrite link here. I will drop it in the chat. It's also in the Nightbot. It's not too expensive. All these fees go toward the land that we have to rent, the licenses you have to get. There's no profit in this, you know. But if you want to learn these skills, it's 3 days. You got limited calories, limited water. Everything else you have to trap or fish for. You got to boil water, got to make a fire, the whole 9 yards. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard but fair and worth it if we really assessing the environment that we in. So I'm going to drop this here. Somebody also, you know, put the other link from the Nightbot, which is probably easier. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Let me see you in the chat real quick. We get it popping. Fishing was popping. Salute the Insane in the building. Imperial, what up? Rashada, salute. Boot camp in the building. My brother D Majesty was popping. Ducci was good, my boy. Hope all is well. Hope everything's everything. I got boot camp. Herlandy was good. I ain't seen you in a minute. Hope all is well. OG Vet Life in the building. Salute, salute, salute. Rebecca was popping. T was good, my boy. Key was popping. T Mac in the building. T Mac, I sent you a message on IG this morning too. Mel, you already know. What's goody? Miss Jilly, what's up? Make sure y'all say what's up to Miss Jilly in the chat, please. William Graves in the building. Salute, salute, salute. Rock Solid, what's popping, my brother? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Hope everything's everything. DJ Smoke in the building, man. Salute to the 60 people in the building. Please hit the like button. Make sure the likes match the viewership so we can get it popping, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend. DJ HAMP about to go live again. So hit the likes, my friend, on your way in. First off, salute the chat. And to all new cousins, welcome back. Heard you searching for the real, well, this is where it's at. The latest topics and panels and brother, don't get sent to the bathroom. We got all the stats, too, back to facts in the morning, or they afternoon. Tuesday, women's POV, 2 Fridays, dance a jamming tune. It's a community of real, and we better than the world news. This might be risky, I hope you know. This might be risky. Let's go, let's go. This might be risky. No, I love you, bro, I love it. This might be risky. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show.
Let's get it, man. Salute. Love C. Dr. G. What's good? Good to see you. Like, see, I ain't seen you in a minute, seem like. Maybe because we've been running around and all that. You know what I'm saying? Been busy. People been with family. Good to be back and locked in, you know? Actually, damn, I'm going somewhere else this weekend. That's all right. Let's get into it. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel.
Trying to feel me, nigga. Politics as usual.
So, this part. Now, we haven't talked much about it. So I wanted to get into it, you know, and it kind of goes into the next point, so to speak. So let me make sure that we have an understanding. The DC National Guard shooting. One of the National Guard people that got shot was a woman. She died. I didn't see the update for the man, but he was in critical condition after he got shot. Now there's decently a lot to unpack here. We're not going to stay on it super duper long, but it goes into a different point and how these type of things that happen are used in a bunch of different ways, you know, once we see them happen, man. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Let me show you this.
Fox News alert: 2 National Guardsmen gunned down in Washington, D.C. just before the Thanksgiving holiday. 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom passed to glory, in the words of her father, while 24-year-old Andrew Wolf continues to fight for his life. With that, we bring in Madeline Rivera live in Washington with the latest. Madeline.
Kaylee, federal officials are adamant they want the death penalty for the suspect, 29-year-old Ramanullah Lockenwall. New video obtained by the Wall Street Journal shows part of the shooting unfolding on Wednesday afternoon. The video taken by a witness shows the suspect holding a gun as a National Guardsman runs down the street. 5 seconds later, the outlet reports the Guardsman fires loud shots. Lockenwall is now facing first-degree murder for the death of 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, as 24-year-old Andrew Wolf remains in critical condition.
Andrew is fighting for his life right now, and his family and all of his friends, they're trying to harvest as many prayers as possible from all across the country, all across the globe, to help him recover.
Investigators have yet to say what publicly motivated Lockenwall to drive cross-country from Washington state to D.C. to carry out this attack. Lockenwall was vetted by the intelligence community for his work with the CIA in Afghanistan. He would have also been screened before receiving asylum earlier this year. But the administration maintains there were gaps in the process during the chaos of the Afghanistan withdrawal, which is when Lockenwall came here to the U.S. Now they're cracking down on immigration. In one of their latest moves, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the State Department is pausing visas for all travelers with Afghan passports. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services is also pausing all asylum decisions. The agency says that order will remain until they can ensure every foreigner is screened to the maximum degree. Kaylee.
You know what's so interesting about these, right? And I am not a conspiracy theorist at all, right? Like, I don't really get into, you know, that tinfoil hat shit. But these type of things, he go from Washington State to Washington, D.C. to shoot 2 guardsmen. And so now they crack down on people coming from essentially the Middle East. I know they're saying Afghanistan, right? But also everybody who look like they could be from Afghanistan. Let's not be coy about it, you know? And so when I look at these things, I'm like, so this happens. So now it gives you leverage and a justifiable reason to make sure that these people can't get into the country after letting them in the first place, you know? And we look at different associations and all that. So it's just interesting to me how that can be used. I remember we were talking about when they raided an apartment building, 800 people in there, and they were able to accost, detain, and arrest whomever was in there. Now, the ICE agents were justified because it said that there was a plethora of people that were illegal in there, but it was predominantly lived in by black people. And so the black people that did live there were detained, and whomever had a warrant or some type of running with the law were also arrested during that raid. But that raid was initially for the few, the 100 people that were supposedly illegal. But they've been able to get everybody in the wash, though. You see what I mean? So I see those things, and I just be wondering, boom, now I got you. Now you open the door for me to do more shit. Right? So I can manipulate the bad thing that happened and use it for maybe a macro issue that I wanted to address. So when I see these things, I just kind of squint at it a little bit. Let's learn more about the boy who did the shooting.
We are learning more about the man accused of shooting 2 National Guard members, killing one in Washington, D.C. last week. The Associated Press obtained emails showing people had been raising red flags about this man, Rahmanullah Lochinwall, long before the shooting. Lochinwall is a 29-year-old Afghan evacuee who came to the United States through Operation Allies Welcome. Community advocates described him as a man who had been unraveling for years. They say he couldn't keep a job and isolated himself for long periods of time. Someone even said he may have been suicidal, but said they saw no signs that he would commit violence against others. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says officials believe he was radicalized in the United States. He is now charged with first-degree murder.
They believe he was radicalized in the United States, in Washington State. See what I'm saying? This the things that make me think like, well, so you're saying there's like a sleeper cell or a cell of individuals here that have been let in who have these thoughts and processes, so he didn't come over here like that? If so, then why do we have to scrutinize the screening process if it happened when he was here? That doesn't make sense. Hold on a second. Go ahead.
Hey, I have to go get wardrobes. There's a ton of clothes here.
All right. I thought there was wardrobes in the other place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have enough. There's so many clothes. She doesn't want them put in a C-bin or anything.
All right. How many do you have?
I don't have any. The wardrobes were broke at the other thing. I didn't know that we had clothes and stuff. That's why I asked you if we needed boxes and stuff. I didn't know.
All right. Calm down, first off.
Yeah. No, it's not you.
All right. Because she kind of trying to get over a little bit.
Yeah. A lot. There's a lot of packing that she has to do too, and she thought that I was bringing in boxes to do that.
Yeah. It's a podcast. It's a podcast. It's a podcast, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend. DJ HAMP about to go live again. So hit the likes, my friend, on your way in. First off, salute the chat. And to all new cousins, welcome back. Heard you searching for the real. Well, this is where it's at. The latest topics and panels, and brother, don't get sent to the bathroom. We got all the stats, too, back to facts in the morning or the afternoon. Tuesday, women's POV, 2 Fridays, dance and jamming tune. It's a community of real, and we better than the world news. This might be risky, I hope you know. This might be risky. Let's go, let's go. This might be risky. No, I love you, real, I love it. This might be risky. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show. Yeah, it's a podcast. It's a podcast. It's a podcast, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend. DJ HAMP about to go live again. So hit the likes, my friend, on your way in. First off, salute the chat. And to all new cousins, welcome back. Heard you searching for the real, well, this is where it's at. The latest topics and panels, and brother, don't get sent to the bathroom. We got all the stats, too, back to facts in the morning or the afternoon. Tuesday, women's POV, 2 Fridays, dancing, jamming tune. It's a community of real, and we better than the world news. This might be risky, I hope you know. This might be risky, let's go, let's go. This might be risky, no, I love you, real, I love it. This might be risky. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show. Yeah, it's a broadcast. It's a broadcast. It's a broadcast, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend. DJ HAMP about to go live again. So hit the likes, my friend, on your way in. First off, salute the chat. And to all new cousins, welcome back. Heard you searching for the real, well, this is where it's at. The latest topics and panels, and brother, don't get sent to the bathroom. We got all the stats, too, back to facts in the morning or the afternoon. Tuesday, women's POV, 2 Fridays, dancing, jamming tune. It's a community of real, and we better than the world news. This might be risky, I hope you know. This might be risky, let's go, let's go. This might be risky, no, I love you, real, I love it. This might be risky. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show. Salute to DJ HAMP, it's time to start the show. Yeah, it's a broadcast. It's a broadcast. It's a broadcast.
All right, my bad. Where was I? Okay, let me play this one more time. Thank you, folks. All right, let me see.
Learning more about the man accused of
Okay, yeah. So essentially, they're saying we got to screen more. So now we're going to keep these people out of the country. But then they were saying that these people he was radicalized inside the country, right? That doesn't make sense to me. So if the screening process is the issue, let that be the issue. But instead, they said that he was radicalized while being inside the United States. So the screening wouldn't be an issue. So there would be essentially no reason to keep people out from Afghanistan if he was radicalized in the United States, right? But I'm telling you, things are used as leverage for something else, right? For a different cause, a greater cause, whatever the case is. So it's just interesting how things kind of line up in that way. So there was an update for this. I believe it's right here. Let me see.
Live right now in D.C., we do have the D.C. mayor there, Mayor Bowser, joined with FBI Director Kash Patel. Let's listen right now on Live Now.
Okay. How's it for me, everybody?
Great. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kash Patel, FBI Director. We're here to brief you on the tragic events that happened today at approximately 2:15 local time in Washington, D.C., where 2 of our brave members of the National Guard and Department of War were brazenly attacked in a horrendous act of violence. They were shot. They're in critical condition. As you can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA. And we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter. The Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice. I would lastly like to add to the American public in the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They're here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day and their families and the sacrifice they have made. I will now turn it over to Chief Carroll of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief here at the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the DC National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring him into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I, too, want to send my thoughts and prayers to the families of the guardsmen and to the guardsmen who are in critical condition in a local hospital. I am joined by members and leadership from the D.C. National Guard, from the West Virginia National Guard, United States Secret Service, Deputy Mayor Pia, Fire Chief Donnelly, and Metro's General Manager Randy Clark. And we join with the FBI Director in ensuring that MPD investigates, the U.S. Attorney prosecutes this case to the fullest extent of the law. I've had the opportunity to brief U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was speaking to the president when I called, as well as the United States Attorney Pirro, who assured me that this case will have her office's complete attention.
Mayor, was there any other suspect?
Chief.
Sure. So no, at this time, there's no indication that there was any other suspect. The one suspect that was involved in this incident, they were shot during the interaction, and they were transported to the hospital for treatment.
Mayor, does this validate the need for the National Guard here in D.C.?
What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Can you tell us any more details on the condition of the two National Guardsmen and whether or not anyone else was injured? And a quick question follow-up for the FBI Director. You said that we'll make sure we find the perpetrators for this act. So just to clarify, the person believed to be responsible is in custody and there are no other suspects.
Sure, so I can start out. Again, Chief Carroll from MPD. So both the individuals, the guard members, they are in critical condition in a local hospital at this time being treated. At this point, we have no other suspects. We have reviewed video from the area. It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members. No, at this time, obviously, we're very in the preliminary stages of investigation. You know, there's a lot of things, a lot of agents that are here from various federal agencies, law enforcement agencies. We have the full power of the FBI and our federal partners here in the task force. So we're looking at all those different aspects, but we don't have any motive. The National Guardsmen that were shot, I'm told they were armed. At this time, as part of the preliminary investigation.
Can you explain how the suspect was happening?
Chief.
Sure. So how the suspect was apprehended, as I said, the individual, the suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the two National Guard members. So at the time, there were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard the gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
He was shot by a National Guard.
At this point, we're still investigating exactly who shot the individual. It's not clear at this time.
Were there DC policemen in the area?
We don't know what kind of weapon. There was DC police. It happened right in front of the Metro, although there is no indication that the perpetrator was on the Metro. So there's Metro Transit Police in the area, and obviously being on 17th Street by the White House, Uniformed Division Secret Service were in the immediate area as well. We do not know at this time. Still in investigation.
We're going to be able to take a couple more.
Sure. And so as I said, we're very preliminary in the investigation, so we're looking into all aspects of who the individual is, his connections. At this time, he's still in the hospital receiving treatment.
And I would just like to add, the reason that this suspect is in custody is because of the bravery of the men and women of the National Guard who responded due to their extensive training to secure American lives today. There was not any further injury and any further shootings. We should highlight the fact that the men and women of law enforcement, the interagency, the Department of War, and the National Guard executed their training with great precision today and prevented an even greater tragedy from befalling us. These National Guardsmen are heroes, and we must pray for their safety and their speedy recovery. And as the chief said, we are in the preliminary stages of this investigation. We will run down every single lead, every piece of evidence. This is the power of the U.S. government at its best at the state, local, and federal level. That is why this interagency group is standing behind us to assure America and the world that we will continue to keep DC safe. And thankfully, we have Metropolitan Police Department, the National Guardsmen, and federal agents, and the Department of Justice and Attorney General willing to prosecute the mission to keep Americans safe. And President Trump has rightly stated that this heinous act will be investigated, and he has thanked the National Guardsmen and women and the men and women of law enforcement.
Thank you.
Let's go to the UK now, and we've spoken about the flag protests there, Operation Raise the Colours.
You know, so you see that he shot both of those National Guardsmen, right? And they the girl died, you know. So that seemed to be preliminary, you know, what we just watched. You know, but they all in full force now. But the National Guardsmen were armed though. That's interesting to me, right? They're armed. He was able to shoot two of them, then get taken into custody. You know, when I asked the other service people, the Marines, like Aaron or whatever the case is, Mr. Fantastic, and they talk about the National Guard, it's almost like, if I had to liken it as an analogy so we can understand, it's like they're like the Iotas or something. So you got the Qs, the Alphas, the Kappas, and then you got like Iotas who get less respect or less revered essentially. So it seems like the National Guardsmen are like what, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year, and they're really not prepared, you know, for what this actually looks like. So this person came guns a blazing essentially, and you know, the lack of preparation cost that woman her life. I think people get comfortable and complacent and casual, kind of just patrolling an area, and then when it actually happened, the preparation wasn't quite there. And that's when people start talking about what they gonna do with somebody breaking their house, you'd be surprised, right? I'm not gonna be surprised about what you're not gonna do, but you're gonna think that you're gonna be able to do all these things with that gun that that you've been shooting with at the range, right? Until it's time to really get in a gunfight, right? Really with somebody who on that type of time, and you never been there before. You think you're gonna respond like Rambo. I promise you, it's not gonna go how you think it's gonna go. I promise you that. It's not gonna go how you think it's gonna go. Word is bond. It's not gonna go how you think it's gonna go. You're gonna wake up in your birthday suit. Hopefully your bedroom is upstairs and they break in downstairs. They ready to rock. They got the shiesty on and all that. And I hope you call the police, yell down the stairs, and ask them to get out your house because the police is on the way. That Rambo shit that you think you're gonna be on, it's not gonna work like that. And we see that happening on these streets. You see it if you watch police videos. They be getting shot, they be running, people be screaming. Yeah, that shit get really real. If you never been out there. Okay. Thank you. You know, so I gotta stop moving around so much. But I don't know. It's shit different, you know. Yeah, no, element of surprise, definitely, man. It's a shame, you know. It's a shame. Hold on one second. One second. So I don't know. Just looking at it, man. So now you got the Afghan dude who shot the two guardsmen. One of them died already. They used that to say, "Hey, we shutting down everybody coming from Afghanistan," which probably mean everybody who Arab. Thank you, folks. You know, they say, "Oh, he was radicalized in the United States." So now there's a sleeper cell somewhere in Washington State that we gotta look at. There's an influx of these people that we gotta police differently now. And then I looked at this video earlier and I see antagonist after antagonist after antagonist, you know, just going to a place that is 55% Muslim, essentially. The people are largely Somalian and Arab of some, I forget what exact country, but it's in Dearborn, Michigan. And you see people going to this place to intentionally antagonize these people. But because they have the First Amendment and you can't respond to people being salacious with you with your fist, at least that's the thought, that I'm going to go exploit the First Amendment, right? And use it in a way to antagonize these people to get them to do something wrong. But when these type of things happen, when this dude drives from Washington and Washington, D.C. and shoots people, it gives these videos much more credence against anybody who looks like them. And the reason why this is important to us is because we see it happen to us all the time. There's a shootout in Philadelphia. There's a shootout in Chicago. All black men are violent. All black men are shooters, even though we know there's 10,000 black men doing the shooting out of 20 million. Look at this, right? The obsession is clear, but look at this. These ain't outliers that you're looking at.
Incredibly simple. You can use your phone to sign up in minutes. Great offer applies to like New York and California. The decline of smaller cities is even more disturbing. So consider Dearborn, Michigan, population just north of 100,000. If you were ranking American cities by population, Dearborn wouldn't even crack the top 300. But the population that Dearborn does have is highly significant. Dearborn currently has a larger portion of Muslims than any other city in the U.S. And it recently became the first Arab majority city in the country. Fully 55% of Dearborn's residents say they have Middle Eastern or North African ancestry, which explains why Dearborn boasts the largest mosque in the entire continent of North America. Now, Dearborn, as I've said so often on the show, is in every way an Islamic capital at this point. It is not an American city at all, except geographically. Dearborn has been conquered. And the few remaining Americans in Dearborn are now finding themselves surrounded by mobs of Muslims chanting Allah Akbar and telling them to leave the city. So this is footage that was taken by Nick Shirley, one of the few journalists who's willing to travel to Dearborn and report honestly about what he sees there. The footage shows Shirley attempting to interview an activist named Jake Lang, who was one of the pardoned January 6th.
Hear what he's saying now, right? Here's what he's framing as negative, what he's framing as bad. You know, look how he characterized this person's journalism. This is important.
Who's willing to travel to Dearborn and report.
These ain't outliers, okay? These ain't outliers. The man you looking at, the quote-unquote journalist that went to Dearborn, these ain't outliers.
And the few remaining Americans in Dearborn are now finding themselves surrounded by mobs of Muslims.
Hear it. The few remaining Americans, right? Because who is he characterizing? Who is he saying is American? Right? Are the people who live in Dearborn, Michigan, who are part of their council, who are their mayor, etc., are they not Americans? But they got one specific people in their mind who are Americans.
In every way, an Islamic capital at this point. It is not an American.
There's what? Somebody correct me. 500,000 black Muslims in the United States? I think I looked it up one time. I could look it up again. You know? But this is someone's religious belief, right? And we have the freedom of religion here, you know? But listen to what they're saying.
In city at all, except geographically. Dearborn has been conquered. And the few remaining Americans in Dearborn are now finding themselves surrounded by mobs of Muslims chanting Allah Akbar and telling them to leave the city. So this is footage that was taken by Nick Shirley, one of the few journalists who's willing to travel to Dearborn and report honestly about what he sees there. The footage shows Shirley attempting to interview an activist named Jake Lang, who was one of the pardoned January 6th defendants. But the interview doesn't go anywhere because at this point, Dearborn basically resembles Fallujah. Watch.
I believe they're going to cancel the 6:30 City Hall meeting because everybody's chimping the out. They're chimping the out. I don't have bananas. Chill out. I don't have bananas. This is not America. This is an insurgency. They are taking over our country. They're taking over our country. They want us all dead.
Wow. This is Dearborn, Michigan right now.
Yes, this is Dearborn, Michigan. Any racist is not welcome. No races here.
Now, that is a video.
So what did you guys see? Right? They don't have any bananas. And I'm glad that guy got the camera. Right? I'm glad he got the opportunity to say something. He's like, any racist is not welcome. Your reputation precedes you, right? They know why you there. So you want people to play stupid. You want people to be polite to you, right? They talking. It looks like them. They were able to say what they needed to say back and forth, right? But look how the dude Matt is framing it. You see, and those people came right in peace. But this shit is. I'm telling you. Let me go to the next part. Let me see.
Video that should be playing on repeat on every American news station. The president should have responded to this by now. It is footage that 25 years ago, everybody would have assumed came from Iraq or Afghanistan. So to be clear about what you just saw, if you're an American citizen and the mob of Muslims that controls Dearborn believes that you're racist, then you're not welcome in the city any longer.
Well, they can also hear what he's saying, right? But I'm just letting this play a little bit because I want y'all to hear the rhetoric, right? He's saying because these look to be Middle Eastern people, this isn't America, right? What does Allahu Akbar mean in a country that has freedom of religion, right? But they feed in this shit. And then how do the people act that can think less, that have less to lose, right? That are manipulated by everything that this dude is saying. So now here's this part is important.
Someone who quickly ran away very courageously. Watch.
I'm a traitor! I'm a I'm a traitor! I'm a I'm a traitor! I'm a I'm a traitor! I'm a
So you see the sign, right? You see the sign, America against Islamification, right? America against Islamification. So he get punched in the face, right? And I know, I get it. The righteous people, the law abiding people, they'll say, well, that shouldn't happen. He should be able to. We get it, but we seen, yeah, they are American citizens, right? Nightbreaker salute. We get it, but we also see motherfuckers get sprayed down, get bit up by dogs, fire water hoses on them, and all that. This ain't the first time we see somebody get their ass whooped for protesting something. When people take exception, I'd be so weirded out by people being like, "Oh, that shouldn't have happened." What the fuck? What do you expect to happen? Right? Americans against Islamification, and it's 60% Muslim where they at. I mean, because you know what you're doing when you're doing the thing. That's why they had to make a decision to be nonviolent, right? Martin Luther King made a decision because you knew what was going to happen. So they say, okay, here's how we going to respond to the physicality that comes with what we want to do. And they still got their lives taken for it. But motherfuckers be acting so surprised when somebody punch you in your shit. And then he almost dropped them. But against Islamification, what do you expect to happen? And I know y'all talking about legalities, but people be acting foolish. Let me see. There's one more thing I wanted to show y'all. And then
I'm a traitor! I'm a
That wimp just running away. He's like already running away while the punch is still in the air being thrown.
So,
he's already somehow running away. Now, as long as we're still prosecuting hate, is what the resistance looks like, which is what the left has done across the country.
We don't want you in our country. We have to call it what it is. You guys don't live like we do. We don't want you in our country. We will come and eat your shawarma in Somalia, okay? We don't need it here in Michigan. We don't need it in any part of America. We have a right to self-determination. Our founding fathers fought and died for our posterity, for white Americans, and we're being driven out. You come here and you marry 4 or 5 women and you outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country look like the places that you fled from. We don't want you here. Respectfully, get the out of my country. I don't want you here. We don't want you here. I don't want you here. I don't want you here.
That's fine, sir.
This is our country. And the people, the veterans, the World War II veterans, that's blood has soaked for our constitutional republic, are taking a look around Europe. They're taking a look around America, and they're saying, what the hell did we fight for? We have been taken over without a single shot fired. You guys are outbreeding, insidious parasites on the American way of life. You will never look like us. You will never eat like us. You won't build buildings like us. You are nothing. You can build nothing. Just like President Trump's great American friends have said, you guys are not us, and get the out. America first, America only. God bless America. Jesus is king. 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 Jesus is king.
Time has expired. Order in the chambers. Order in the chambers.
You know, just consume the information. Right. Now, this guy doesn't seem like an idiot per se. He knows what he can say. He knows what he can get off. You know what I'm saying? He knows how he can say white America, whites only, you know? He's like, our forefathers, they did this for us, right? You hear the language, right? You hear what he's implying, what he's insinuating, who is for and etc. You know, because we don't have a problem with the quote unquote breeding thing. The Latinos don't have a problem with the quote unquote breeding thing. And so listen to what he's saying. Now, well, let me see this real quick.
You are a bigot and you are a racist. You are an Islamophobe. And although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city.
These comments from the Muslim mayor of Dearborn, Michigan to a resident at a city council meeting made news. The resident had committed the offense of expressing concern over a street being named after Osama Siblani.
My concern is he's a promoter of Hezbollah and Hamas.
The best suggestion I have for you is to not drive on Warren Avenue or to close your eyes.
Here's what I want us to take away. Look at the uniformity in this, his value. You know, the uniformity of them kind of moving to this one place with their belief system and then implementing that belief system throughout the place in which they dominate now and investing in each other and all that, you know. And look what the mayor's saying. He's backed by his constituents. But we look at these people and act like, oh, they doing some. Cause I could see it. People act like they doing some outlandish shit, but they doing this within the rights and the guidelines. And if your constituents look like you, right, they gonna vote you in, and then you can change the street names, and you can open your businesses after 5 during Ramadan. And you can implement laws and values that reflect your belief system. That's the value I see. It's interesting that the mayor can say that directly.
While you're doing it. Thank you. Also say that I'm an apostate. I'm going to hell based on the videos that you dropped. So if I were you, I sit silent. Okay.
So perhaps we shouldn't be too surprised that Dearborn has drawn the attention of people like this guy, who came in and dropped a grenade at the city council meeting.
You guys got to keep it down. Okay,
in 1900, the world was 30% white. Fast forward 125 years, we are down to 7%. The Islamification of Europe is particularly aimed at the destruction of white people. The Islamification of America is aiming to meet the same goal. Our people, white Christian, European, Western civilization, we built the arts. We built the Colosseum. We have ran the world into the industrial age. And now this people here, the Muslim community, is looking to drag us back. They're looking to oppress women, oppress homosexuals. They're looking to destroy everything that makes America great. President Trump, send ICE into Dearborn. These people have overstayed their visas. They're H-1B chain migration invaders, and they have come to this country to destroy our way of life. We know exactly your laws in your book about lying to our faces, pretending to be Americans, wearing your suits. But that doesn't happen anywhere else where you guys are in charge. There are 53 Muslim majority countries, and in all of them, it is tyranny, destruction. It is shithole living. We have to call it what it is. You guys don't live like we do. We don't want you in our country. We will come and eat your shawarma in Somalia, okay? We don't need it here in Michigan. We don't need it in any part of America. We have a right to self-determination. Our founding fathers fought and died for our posterity, for white Americans, and we're being driven out. You come here and you marry 4 or 5 women and you outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country look like the places that you fled.
Y'all heard this, right? He ain't no outlier. Okay? He ain't no outlier. We like the quiet part out loud. He ain't no outlier. You know? I hear him. He got concerns. They created a white-only town. You know? And this is not black people in this particular example. You know? From the one I want to get to. But he's saying what he's saying at the council meeting. But this area that he's saying it in, don't give a shit. Because the white people in this particular area are the minority. And so these people have taken advantage of the systems in place and are doing as they see fit based on their religious law, practices, customs, culture, morality. Harrison was popping with the $5 says, salute, my brother. 2K was goody, my boy, with the $5 says, top of the top, Brody. Salute. Love C with the $10 says, all is well, bro. Just been working. Mind your own budget. Personal finance series every Sunday in December at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. 7th, Money and Mindset 14th. Money and Mindset 14th. Type the budgets 21st. DIY budget 28th. Goal setting and debrief. I like it. I hope Daily got all this. See, salute. Make sure y'all jump in the Discord, man. That's uberly valuable. Rebecca with the 20 ball says the biometric process of vetting is flawed. Fingerprints tells criminal history. Radicalization is strategic to their needs in and out of the country. They can hide individuals and tell them to lay low until they are in place. Yeah, 100%. But then they said he was radicalized in the country. That's the thing that threw me off. So maybe what you're saying is maybe what they meant, but it didn't sound like that's what they were saying. But I can understand that. Didn't fit. Aaron with the $2 says, you're only an American when they need your vote. Mama 867 with the $2 check out Melanie King over this. Mama 867 with the $2 she gives a different point of view. Why it's not good. I don't know. What I'm seeing is I'm seeing the people who seem to be a monolith, going to a particular place and putting in their customs and culture. And we are afraid in that, We took so much pride in individualism that now we're disjointed. Because we have several predominantly black areas, But to galvanize in this way is impactful. So I'm just looking at what they did and how they leveraged it. And when you go somewhere antagonizing the people, you should not expect anything not to happen to you. I expect everything to happen to me when I'm doing something against the majority populace. So if I take a stand against the majority populace or the majority societal standard, I expect extreme pushback, whether it's verbal or physical. I understand what laws are in place, but if I'm being hurtful and I'm attacking a thing in a certain way that people take pride in, I expect for backlash to come however it come, and I'm not gonna play coy when it does come. Paul, that was a lot of fucking. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. So this is the main thing, the reason why I had to hit this link, and I got an acute time span today because I gotta get on this plane. But let me show y'all this, man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel. When I'm traveling. When I'm traveling. You know, this clip was interesting. I was gonna do a pre-record on it, but I thought it was kind of perfect for what I wanted to talk about today. So it just, you know, you want to parse it out, right? And Elijah Muhammad said, you got a pit of snakes, 25 poisonous, 25 not. Are you going to jump in there to figure out which ones ain't poisonous? What you're looking at is a meeting that was taking place from a tech company out of Austin. 250 people in the meeting. They have recently hired a black woman as CEO who has a 20-year history of building businesses in IT and etc. And so, of course, it's a Zoom meeting. This lady has her camera off and she just starts talking. And she meant to call a friend to tell her, thanks, bro, to tell her how much she disliked this person and how this person was only here because she's black and etc. And everything in her comes out of her on this call. It's a weird obsession to me. It's a weird obsession to me. So let me play this for y'all. Let me slow it down.
Who probably got this job because of making these decisions. They're all ideas. These people don't.
Ashley, you are not muted.
Ashley sat in her home office.
I just don't understand how an who probably got this job because of making these decisions. They're all ideas. These people don't.
Ashley, you are not muted.
Ashley sat in her home office that Monday morning in May 2020, coffee in hand, staring at her laptop screen as faces began popping up in the Zoom grid. She had no idea that in exactly 17 minutes, her entire life would explode. Not from a car accident, not from a health crisis, but from 43 seconds of words she thought nobody could hear. Words that would cost her $200,000 a year, her reputation, and her entire career in tech. Words about her CEO that were so ugly, so filled with hate, that once they left her mouth, there was no taking them back. Before we dive into what happened that day, I want to ask you something. Where are you watching this from? Drop your country or city in the comments. And if you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button now. This story gets intense and you don't want to miss what happens next. Trust me. Ashley worked for Tech Vision Solutions, a software company based in Austin, Texas, with about 340 employees. The company made data analytics tools for hospitals and medical centers. Nothing glamorous, but the money was excellent. Ashley had been there for 4 years as a senior software architect. Her salary was $198,000 per year, plus bonuses that usually pushed her total compensation past $220,000. She lived in a nice neighborhood, drove a Mercedes sedan, and had recently bought a vacation home in Colorado. By most standards, she had made it. She was successful, comfortable, set, But Ashley had a problem that had been eating at her for 8 months. In September 2019, the company promoted a new CEO. Her name was Veronica, and she was the first Black woman to lead TechVision Solutions in its 23-year history. Veronica came from a competitor brought in by the board of directors to help the company expand into new markets. She had an MBA from Northwestern, 15 years of experience in healthcare technology, and had grown her previous company's revenue significantly over 5 years. On paper, Veronica was the perfect choice, but Ashley didn't see it that way. From day one, Ashley questioned every decision Veronica made. When Veronica reorganized the engineering teams, Ashley complained to her coworkers. When Veronica pushed for a new client in the pharmaceutical sector, Ashley said it was a waste of time. When Veronica presented the company's vision for 2020 at the annual meeting, Ashley sat in the back with her arms crossed. The thing is, Ashley never said the quiet part out loud. She kept her deepest thoughts to herself. She smiled in meetings. She nodded when Veronica spoke. She played the part of the professional employee until that Monday in May. The pandemic had changed everything about how companies operated. TechVision Solutions, like millions of other businesses, sent everyone home in March 2020. The office building sat empty. All meetings moved to Zoom. The company had to figure out how to function entirely online. Veronica scheduled a company-wide meeting for May 11th at 10 a.m. Central Time. The purpose was to discuss how the pandemic was affecting their clients and what adjustments they needed to make. These all-hands meetings happened once a month, but this one felt more important. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Their software was being used in crisis conditions. The team needed direction. The company had a policy of recording these large meetings. They would post the recording on the internal server so employees could watch later if they missed it or needed to reference something. This was standard practice. Everyone knew the meetings were recorded. Ashley woke up that Monday morning already irritated. She had seen an email from Veronica the night before about new reporting requirements, more paperwork, more check-ins. Ashley felt like Veronica was micromanaging and she was tired of it. She got her coffee, opened her laptop, and clicked the Zoom link at 9:58 a.m. Her video was off. She always kept her video off during large meetings, less pressure to look engaged. By 10:02 a.m., about 290 people had joined the call. Veronica's face appeared in the main screen. As she started speaking, she welcomed everyone, asked how people were holding up during the lockdown, and began going through the agenda. Ashley was half listening. She had her phone next to her, scrolling through news articles. This was typical for her during these meetings. She felt like they were a waste of time. Around 10:14 a.m., Veronica started talking about a new initiative. The company was going to partner with 3 community health.
You know, it's interesting. Who said it? Somebody says she gave her opinion about the person. Okay. Right. But based on the intel, it's not even about what the person's done or the qualities or qualifications. It was about just one thing, you know? And we understand that, right? I'm not surprised by it, you know? But I just want y'all to hear it and understand it, you know? Because it's always about how much, you know, Black people complaining and victim Olympics and all this. But look at it. Look what we're witnessing, right? And this is you know, one example of many. Right. I'll let y'all hear a little bit more of this, then I'm gonna transition because I gotta go.
Centers in underserved neighborhoods to provide their software for free for 6 months. It was partly a goodwill gesture during the crisis, partly a way to get feedback from different types of users. Ashley's frustration boiled over. She had complained to a coworker named Annabelle about Veronica many times over the past months. Annabelle worked on Ashley's team and shared an office with her before the pandemic. They had become friends, or at least Ashley thought they had. They would grab lunch and talk about work drama. Ashley saw that Annabelle was on the Zoom call. She decided to call her on her cell phone. She wanted to vent about what Veronica was saying. She wanted someone to agree with her that this free partnership idea was stupid. She picked up her phone and called Annabelle. But here's what Ashley didn't realize. When she called Annabelle, she didn't mute herself on Zoom first. Annabelle's phone rang. She was sitting at her home desk watching the meeting. She saw Ashley's name on her phone and felt confused. Why was Ashley calling during the meeting? She let it go to voicemail. Ashley assumed Annabelle couldn't answer because she was busy. So Ashley did something incredibly reckless. She started talking out loud to herself in her home office while unmuted on a Zoom call with 290 people. This is absolutely ridiculous, Ashley said. Her voice came through every single person's computer speakers. How was she even in charge of this company? People on the call immediately noticed. You could see it happening in real time. Some people's faces changed, eyes went wide. A few people scrambled for their mice. Someone typed in the chat, Ashley, you're not muted. But Ashley wasn't looking at the chat. She was looking at her phone, frustrated that Annabelle didn't answer. Quick question for you watching. Have you ever had an embarrassing unmute moment on a video call? Nothing like this probably, but drop a yes in the comments if you've ever said something you shouldn't have. Ashley kept going. I mean, seriously, who does she think she is? Ashley's voice continued. Well, this whole free program thing is just her trying to look good. It's not even a smart business move. More people started typing in the chat now, multiple messages. Ashley, your mic is on. You're not muted. Ashley, Veronica stopped talking. She could hear Ashley's voice, but seemed confused about where it was coming from. She looked at her screen, trying to figure out which participant was speaking. And then Ashley said the words that would end everything. I just don't understand how an African-American woman who probably got this job because of diversity quotas is making these decisions. They're all dumb ideas. These people don't know how to run companies. They just get put in charge to check boxes. Complete silence, not the kind of silence where people are just quiet. The kind of silence where 290 people are holding their breath. The kind of silence where everyone's brain is trying to process what they just heard. Ashley.
They ain't trying to process. The lady she called why she was able to call her. She's probably thinking how Ashley's thinking and all that. You know? But I use the word obsession, and I'm going to keep it right there. She felt the way. Why? Because she thought DEI this, DEI that. When the lady has a clear track record of qualification, MBA from Northwestern. I don't know if you guys know much about Northwestern, but it's not an easy school to get into or be a part of. And I get it. We say that Ashley, I've seen one person say only one example. Okay. Let me show y'all this, man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Mama 82867 with the 2000. As a white woman, or white man like this is a disgraceful and hateful. Salute the Cam in the building, who just became a member. I apologize, I don't have my soundboard with me, but I appreciate you wholeheartedly, man. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Do y'all remember this lady here? Rel, what's popping? Can't hear you.
Hello, you can hear me now?
What's goody?
What's up?
So look at this. You remember this lady?
She the blackface lady?
Yes, but before blackface, a couple years ago, she was saying nigga on TikTok as a traditional wife.
Everybody I know who's married right now, they're married to broke ass.
Hey folks, so I suppose it was only a matter of time.
I know who's married right now, they're married to broke ass. And they don't care. We don't give a about your money. I couldn't care less about your money. Okay.
So that's Lily Gaddis, a TikToker.
High school, like the weird theater kids and the anime people, and you know who I'm talking about, the people we didn't hang out with. So they've grown up now, and they're the ones making the laws. They're the Mark Zuckerbergs. They're the Faucis of the world of nerds.
It's so over the top, you might think it's satire, like a bit or something. But believe it or not, Gaddis only doubled down following the backlash.
So a recent video of mine seems to have upset members of a certain community, and all the backlash just really made me, just really do a deep dive, like do a soul search. And after all that, I still couldn't find a care.
And unless you think she's being passive aggressive with that.
Okay. Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because this is
People support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in the country.
That's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. Would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
Mm-hmm. I do, quite frankly.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, but if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. Why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
I think the problem with the internet is that people
remember her.
Yeah.
All right. So make sure everybody in context. So this is a video of what her obsession led to. So she went viral, pivoted from the traditional wife thing, and went into the pro-white YouTube microcosm, I guess. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the videos that get traction are videos about black people for the most part, And so we reviewed the blackface thing that she did. And so now, fast forward a month later, you know, this happened.
You playing the video?
Huh?
Are you playing the video?
Yeah.
We can't see it.
I only got one screen, so I'm trying. Good.
Today. So not our usual content, but the tragedy of today that we are going to be talking to is not about Black people attacking more whites on the trains. Shockingly enough, we are actually going to get to talk about something different. I know that that's a common thread that seems to be happening all the time, but today, you know what's happening? They're trying to keep a real nigga down. They're trying to keep a real nigga down. That's what they're trying to do because they cannot handle the truth. And this is just the facts. When you come speaking the truth about certain things, if you're raising racial awareness, let's say, if you are, heaven forbid, pro-white or a pro-white voice out there, which I am, which I always will be, and will always influence my content no matter what it is, they will try to keep you down. I've said in a couple other videos that there is a pipeline of cancellation. So what this is here's the top tier of cancellation. The top part of cancellation is they will try to smear your name. So they'll put out hit pieces and they'll try to cancel you. But we're living in like the post-cancel culture society where that doesn't really work anymore. In fact, it actually lends a little credibility to your name and you gain kind of a little loyal, staunch group of supporters rather, of people who don't care about the media slams. Okay, so they don't quit there. When they can't defame you or smear your name or ruin your reputation, then they will try to take you off the platforms. Hang on, the dog's screaming to be let in. So I'm babysitting my mom's dog while she's away. She had to go down to stay with her sister for Thanksgiving, so that's what I'm doing today. Oh, awkward. He's the worst. Take away your platform. When they can't take away your platform or get you banned, then they will take away your means of funding the project. They will demonetize you so that you cannot make the money that's necessary to continue putting out the content. If they can't stop you then, well, then they try to either jail you or ruin your life through lawfare, or like what's happening to Candace Owens, maybe even put out a hit on your life. Well, I am in the middle phase right now. I was just demonetized on YouTube. Okay, this happened this past week. I didn't announce it because I was trying to appeal the process and whatever, but that's what's going on, folks. I've been demonetized on YouTube. And I always wondered about creators who made a big deal about that until I realized, oh, that's like your sole form of income. Like, so now I'm just making videos for free and I have the electricity bill for all the billions of lights that's in here. I have to pay for the equipment. Okay, now he looks like he's dying. I have to pay for the equipment. Okay, get down. Just stop whining at the door. Yeah, lay down right there. You got to pay for the equipment. You still have to pay for the people who make the thumbnails. You got a lot of bills to do aside from the builds of natural life there. So yes, I have.
So she got demonetized, you know, because her shtick, like she said, got to keep a real nigga down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to keep a real nigga down. So she got demonetized, you know. A lot of her content is situated around that. When you look at her videos, most of the ones that do the best are talking about Black people specifically. Now, to be fair, you know, we looked at like Matt Walsh and her. They racist pretty much to everybody, you know, who ain't white.
Mm-hmm.
But I just saw those videos that kind of take off a little bit. You know, be predominantly about Black people, you know, and it's an obsession thing. And it's the thing about this, why I'm calling it obsessions, particularly with her, is because she found a way to get money. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she has a child who has a Black father.
What?
I think the last time we looked at it, somebody fact check me on that. I think you and I were looking at her. And I think that either the child or, you know what, maybe it was a picture with her dating a Black guy.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe the child. I thought the child is. I could be bugging.
It might be because when she was talking in the video and she was cooking, she was saying, every woman I know, which pretty much means white. I'm pretty sure she don't have Black girlfriends, right? Female friends. She's not friends with Black women.
Oh,
She was saying
A-Rab.
they're all married to broke ass niggas.
Yeah. Okay. So he's A-Rab. Okay. Yeah. So he's A-Rab. So he ain't white, you know? And yeah, broke ass niggas this, you know. Now obviously she don't have a ring on, so I would assume she a baby mom's.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at this, right? And she is a part of that pool, right? There's so many names that lean into that content.
Mm-hmm.
You know? The obsession. You think it's too much of a word?
No. Not at this point. I think we're way past the point of obsession. I I don't know. And I think the most fascinating point about it is like these people really are uncancelable because it's millions of people that feel like that. So they feel safe being the token because it's like they feel like they're martyring themselves.
Yeah.
Because at this point we know you can be CK'd, right? But that's kind of like when you think about how our leaders, but you know, we still have Martin Luther King, we still have these people who stood up, even though we knew what could come behind it, because they feel like they're fighting for a cause, they're fighting for their people. And this is literally what they're doing, because it's not that the country isn't majority, you know, it's like they want everything to be white, you know, and they feel like they're losing the grip because they're recessive. And that's what their domination was all about, is I'm recessive. No matter where I go, if I mate with other people, we disappear. So it was about this keeping it pure, keeping it white thing, and it's not working for their ass no more. And they frantic about it.
Yeah.
So they think that like they're literally fighting for survival.
Mm-hmm.
This country, even with the Arab communities that started there, and we do that in certain groups in America as Black people, right? So like we will get a lot of Black judges, lawyers, politicians in New Orleans, in Atlanta. So when people are doing that, and it's like it's the Spanish people are doing it, they're building their communities, the Asians are doing it, the Arabs are doing it, and people are not assimilating to white culture. They're bringing their cultures with them, and they're not becoming Americanized, and that's a threat to them.
Yeah.
Because now they're powerful. When you join forces and you pull ranks, you can stand in your own solidarity and you don't have to assimilate to them. That's a threat to them, because it's like, so wait, you don't want to be white, but you want to be American? You want to benefit off us, but you don't want to be white? And it's like, yeah, nobody wants to be white. Newsflash.
Yeah, you know, we were having a conversation about like code switching and all that, you know. And so, you know, we kind of say we have to, you know, for certain things in certain environments, essentially. And then shout out to Omar, he was saying, well, the Latinos ain't code switching, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to the conversation, I was sitting back, and he was getting pushback. And so I unmuted. I said, hey, I forget who he was talking to. I said, what do you think about press 1 for English?
Mm-hmm. I remember that I
Right?
was there.
Okay. Right? Because I'm like, what do you think about press 1 for English? You know, that those people come, do the trades that they do. They work for the dollar amounts they work for. And they essentially kind of make their own little businesses. Like you know how it is in Texas. You got a damn food truck on every single lot that's selling
And they
tacos.
support each other. You're not going to put them taco trucks out of business. You ain't. Because they don't speak English at the taco truck. Go to the taco truck.
Yeah,
The
they eat there.
signs ain't even in English. They be translating on the phone when an English person come, because they don't even expect you to come. Now they'll take your money, but if you think my livelihood is based on some English talking person coming to this taco truck, it's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? With that part, and so to your point, right? The white people who got some, I don't think that they're wrong about their concerns, because they don't in terms of reproduction and the country looking differently, but the country looked how it looked, right? It always been a country full of immigrants and people coming from all over other places, right? Who built their community. There's always if you go to Boston, right? South Boston, you better be Irish, right? That's how that works, right? You
But
got
in
little
their minds, they're
hold
not
on,
immigrants.
I just want to make sure I build it out though, right? You got South Boston, right? You got Little Italy, you got Chinatown. You know what I mean? You have all these places where there's a predominant culture. You know, it's always been like that, where people come here, right? Become citizens or whatever, or get naturalized, and they kind of create cultures within the country.
Mm-hmm.
Now your point is a valid point. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and they don't think that they're immigrants. They think they are the core of what America is. America's the melting pot. America has always, you didn't build this country. I don't know why white people all of a sudden think they built this country solely alone. No, you're an immigrant. You don't want other people here. The Native Americans don't want your ass here. This ain't your shit. This is you don't take claims to this at all. And even in New Orleans, we have a Muslim community. There's stores and places and communities, houses where you can go. Everybody's gonna have on a hijab. In New Orleans, they got halal food. They got their own food markets, and they might be next to the Asian community. Got their own restaurants. They live in their own neighborhoods. They even got signs. They signs is in Japanese. The Mexicans doing the same thing. The blacks is doing the same thing. So these people are willing to collaborate with you, but they don't want to erase themselves to become you. And you don't like that collaboration. Especially since you're really not dominant. These people are fighting for survival. That's why they don't. I'm realizing that you sleep with a Mexican man, you coming out with a Mexican baby. You sleep with a black man, you coming out with a black baby. That's it. It's a wrap. Other races will dominate your recessive genes. You ain't coming back from it.
Yeah, I get the concern for sure.
And then they don't actually have a culture.
What you mean?
You like what's their food? Raisins and potato salad.
Hamburgers, I think. I don't know. French fries.
French fries to the French.
Well, I'm saying French white people, you know.
You know, so it's like they just don't, and it's a scary world out there. Because when I go outside, I see it. Other cultures, they lit. And I wondered if we could benefit from that, right? So I think I'm privileged because I'm from New Orleans. So growing up, I've always had black mayors. I've always had black judges, black DAs. I've also had, every time I went to the hospital, I have a black nursing team. My doctor is a black man. The people who put me under anesthesia, I have all black anesthesiologists since my whole life. Yeah. And I think that's a very privilege because I live in a predominantly black place. And I think that when we start talking about us being unsafe and we start talking about us being unprotected, we need to start moving just like the Muslims was moving. Like, you shouldn't be the only black person in your town. That's just dangerous at this point.
Yeah, because what you're articulating is a real concern. You know, when she's saying she's pro-white, they have a lot of constituents, right? Matt Walsh got 4 million subscribers, you know? And I know like Charlie Kirk's thing seemed to be maybe under the tenets of Christianity, you know, but there are a lot of people who, let's say, weren't quote unquote Christians for the sake of the conversation, right? Who saw the white part and latched onto that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot, right? And they want to preserve themselves. And what they see as a threat is a threat, regardless if we keep looking at the stats and say, well, look at rape, look at molestation. That's violent, you know? They've been able to paint us as that face of violence, you know, and they can justify it because they can turn on the news and see mass shootings as it's defined now in our neighborhoods overwhelmingly, you know, and crime happens in proximity, right? White people kill white people, black people kill black people. And so now, like you're saying, Rel, what is dangerous? You know, where can you be? What do you need to look out for? Right? What happens? Do people get more aggressive now and shit like that with this obsession and self-preservation? To your point, right? Essentially,
right. Because and like I said, I'm gonna just keep on repeating this. Where are the crime when it comes to black people? It's in poverty. Okay, a rival gang shoots at a rival gang. You know who's in the most danger as a white person? A white woman running through Central Park with a white man who's a lawyer, doctor, judge, waiting to bring her in the bushes and grape her. Because that's the shit y'all do. You don't have to look like a criminal, and that's the thing. Your criminals wear suits. It's just in your DNA to be that. And now that people are pushing back against the propaganda and letting you know that, you are the face of brutality. This is who you are. Like Tucker Carlson just recently did a video where he's kind of like saying the country's racist against white men. And he said a comment like, imagine being a young white boy and people are judging you and telling you you're just intrinsically bad because of the color of your skin. But why would we have to imagine that when that's been our history? So not only are you just colonizing everything and whitewashing history all over, Mr. Jesus King hiding behind this Christian nationalism, which is just white supremacy. Because that's what you're hiding behind. Like, oh, it's the Christian way. No, not really. But now you're trying to colonize racism. Now you're trying to say that white men are the ones who are being the most racist against now. No, people are just telling the truth about you. And you don't like how that feels because you've been lying on everybody. But you won't tell truths about you. And now that people are pushing back and people are really looking at numbers that are literally there, and we have our own platforms, we have our own media, and we can tell you, hey, no, this is what you do, this is what you've always done, this is what your ancestors have done, this is what you've done, and you think that's okay, but the world is moving in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yo, look, bro, this is key, and that's why we love it. Now, who knows if it's a white person or not?
Right.
But yeah, and this is more aligned with, what I like to say, right? I know majority of people are racist, right? Then everybody. Well, I'm not tripping off that. But what you're saying, coupled with comments like that, coupled with repeal the 13th Amendment, right? Saying black people, right? You've seen they is at the Arabs next too.
Mm-hmm.
What's your preparation look like?
Yeah, we got to start preparing. You know, one thing that we used to have as kids that I don't think people have now. We don't have preparation. Yeah, that's my shit. We don't even have canned goods. I think people need to start there. You know, we used to just have canned goods. They're like 50 cents right now, but they used to be cheaper. But niggas used to store that because that shit lasts forever, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like if you a black person, and I get it, some black people feel like racism don't exist. You know what I'm saying? You can't save everybody, right? But I know you might not want to move to these popularized cities, but you gotta move around black people. We just looked at that video a couple of Tuesdays ago with that black woman in the hospital and that white nurse just looking over her. That shit wouldn't happen to her in New Orleans. Our nurse is black. You walk in the hospitals, you're gonna see a black staff. And that's just what it is. You going to Atlanta, you're gonna see a black staff. And these are black women because black women are dominating nursing and healthcare and things like this. This is what the majority of them do. This is what the majority of them working in. So it's like, what you know now is not a professional career.
Yeah, I mean, I think insulation is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And people will characterize or mischaracterize the cities about how bad they are and etc. But there are pockets and places. But the best place I ever lived is DC.
Mm-hmm.
When majority of people look like you and the people that do live there kind of understand the dynamics, you get a good vibration. And there's bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
I've been outside, I've been DJing, right? There's bullshit. But I DJ at 20 clubs, Sherelle. 15 of them don't even got security inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the real big ass clubs, of course they got security all throughout, But when I DJ at these, the smaller luxury lounges and a lot of them are predominantly black owned, you see people comporting themselves pretty well,
right.
But there's a lot of stigmas out there, right? And watch your rounds. Don't be a fool, There was a reason why they did have to put the National Guard in, just because the kids, man, running amok, So we got to. There's a lot of things that we have to take care of, but you feel comfortable in those places, though. Like
yeah.
There's something about the energy. It's just different,
Yeah. So it's like, of course, we're gonna have to worry about that. We have an in crime problem, but the bigger thing is your doctors are not gonna make sure, they're gonna make sure you live. They're not gonna not treat your pain. You don't have to worry about going to restaurants when you can go to Black-owned restaurants. And maybe you might have to deal with a customer service, but you don't got to worry about them spitting in your food. So when you can't even trust the professionals, not trusting niggas around the way, we understand how to shake and move around niggas around the way. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when the industries that you're purchasing your food from, that you're going to the hospitals for, when you can't trust the professionals, the people who go to college, imagine her being a doctor and a Black woman, or imagine any woman, any white woman who is a doctor who feels exactly how she feels. You don't think we have no doctors, lawyers, nurses who are in her comments, who support her, who are liking every one of her streams? Imagine how dangerous that is. Because I understand how to shake and move in the hood when a nigga around the way. But I don't want to feel like that with my doctor.
Yeah.
I like knowing he have a Black face. I like knowing my nurses have a Black. I like knowing the lady who about to put anesthesia in my body looks just like me. So I'm gonna wake up. And that's what we need more. Arms training is that, because I understand a lot of times when we are together, the poverty systems, how they're created, is going to be an influx of crime.
Yeah.
But you got to think about the bigger picture of, I want to go to hospitals where people in there look like me, because that makes me feel safe. And I've traveled all over the country, so I've been in Walmarts and ain't nobody Black. Only Black person in Walmart. Only Black person in McDonald's. Only Black person in Target. Only Black person in the town. It's an eerie feeling. I be feeling like, I may go to the wrong spot in a Black neighborhood, and maybe you get shot, maybe you get robbed. I don't be feeling like that. I always feel safe everywhere I go. But the process is, it's like when you just the only Black person somewhere, people might eat you. You never know. You just don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Is HAMP frozen, or am I frozen? Let me look. It's probably him. Oh yeah, it was him. Okay. Oh, look at my lipstick kind of matched the stream today. But no, like being the only Black person somewhere overall is just not a safe thing. So I think it's just a bad comparison of us to think that, okay, the criminality issue that we have in certain neighborhoods, because if you live certain places, you know how to shake and move. You know what neighborhoods you ain't going to. You know what gas stations you ain't pumping the gas about. Like, we hip. If we from around the way, we learn how to move. We know what not to drive. We know if I'm from downtown, I don't go uptown. If I'm from 63rd, I don't go to 64th. Like, we understand that shit, right? Unless I want to go into a war zone. But the professional settings is a much bigger issue. If your politicians are fighting against you, if your governor is fighting against you, if your mayors are fighting against you, if the judges is against you, if the lawyers are against you, because they don't look like you. They don't look like you. So like when you're in New Orleans, you really don't. The DA is Black. The mayors are of color. You know what I'm saying? When you're with people, you understand the professionalism. You get a better chance at the system. So if you know the system is already rigged, you need people, you need allies within that system. And if you're only 10 Black people that live in a town and it's 300,000 white people, you're not in a good place.
Yeah. My position, right? I know everybody racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: I don't have a problem with racists, right? I don't have a problem with gymnasts. I don't have a problem with pianists. I don't have a problem with saxophonists. People prefer the people of their culture, right? People prefer the people who look like them. They have a natural affinity for those people. People don't just marry people that look like them because of only proximity. That's who they're drawn to, overwhelmingly, right? Right. So when white people prefer white people and want white people to do well, I expect that shit. There's so much of it. And now here's the thing. I think most people right? Get along in the earth. And I said this a million times. You work with who you got to work with. You help who you got to help when you out there. You know, if I'm working side by side with a white dude, Asian dude, Latino dude, and we doing the moving and all that, y'all good? You good? Don't fall. You got it. You need help, right? Like,
right?
You thirsty? You know, good job. You know, and then the truth is, any kid, any child, blue, black, brown, purple, white, don't matter. I'm not letting nobody accost or hurt a kid. That's not happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I think here's what I think. Everybody racist. Majority of people kind of probably comport themselves like that, you know? But there is a surge of people that follow the rhetoric like and then there's another subset of people who willing to take that shit to a different level. And so I just want to make sure that we recognize it so you can level up too, just in case they want to go there.
Yeah. No, definitely. And you know something? Like we could just look at the United Nations, right? You think all those people from all those different countries, no, they have one shared goal in mind. People don't like each other. They're not kumbaya. They don't want one nation. That's why it's called United Nations. We don't want to fall under the umbrella of what you do and who you are. We understand allyship. We understand collaboration. We understand that we have to work together because you got some shit, I got some shit, and we come together in that way. But white people have a domination problem. That's really what they issue. We don't have a problem with them wanting to self-preserve and be to themselves. But when that becomes my survival means I have to get rid of everybody else, that's when it's a problem.
Now, Rel, let me say this.
Get rid of us.
Let me say this though. Now, here's the thing. Their domination problem, quote unquote, I take less issue with. I take more of an issue with us being so laid back and lackadaisical about shit at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not understanding the value of prowess. You know, see, we talk a lot of shit, but do we have the resources and the productivity and the preparation to back the shit we talk? See, people talk about money or money this or money that. When you got money, there's a lot of shit you can do and get done.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of people that can't go into these neighborhoods and mentor the kids, right? Because they just don't resonate with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But if they got money, they get that money to me. They create a resource center. They give me these avenues. I resonate with the kids. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So they can be equally as impactful, but from a different part of the process.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not so much when I see men dominating shit, I'm just saying, damn, I gotta compete with that man. I'm not telling that man don't hey, you shouldn't be down. Nah. Damn, what he doing? What he benching? What he squatting? What he deadlifting? You know what I'm saying? That's how I see. You know, when I see them take that lane, I'm like, well shit, the more of us need to be in that lane too.
Yeah, and I don't think that we're in preparation. I think a lot of times people don't even focus on the real issue, right? Because like I said, like with the whole government thing and the food stamp thing, it's this, HAMP. You notice and you do that, right? You notice and you do that. It's not about people needing assistance for the government. It's about this, like, if I know I can't take care of my first child and I'm dependent on the government, why do I have 3 more kids? If I know, if you're gonna tell me I can sit up here as a black person, you can sit up here and you're gonna admit that it's racist, you're gonna admit that there's a system that's against you, you're gonna admit, and you're not gonna be prepared, and you're gonna make your life, not only your life, but your children's life, depend on the people you say hate you, depend on the system you say is created to destroy you. That's who you want to depend on, taking advantage of it. That's one way. But you saying you telling me you gave your ability to feed your kids to these people? That's
Yeah.
what you're doing. You ain't got no food in the storehouse. You get free money. You been getting free money for the last 25 years. You ain't got no canned goods. You ain't got no non-perishables. They take it for 1 month and everybody gonna starve. You comfortable as fuck. You got comfortable in captivity. Are you lost on where you at? That's what I don't understand. We can admit these things and then we can still say, well, yeah, let's marry them.
Yeah.
Let's have kids with them.
Yeah.
Let's build businesses with them. Let's do these. Like, yo, I guess you gotta work alongside people because this is America and they own a lot of industry on purpose. They monopolize everything on purpose. A white girl's just explaining how her wealth comes from her grandfather after the war. This is the only wealth that they have. They was able to sell his house and get millions of dollars from it. She said, you know what though? When my grandpa bought that house in that neighborhood that we was able to sell that house for, it was a red line neighborhood. Your black grandpa couldn't even get in there. The education that he was able to get, the schools wasn't even accepting black people. For a long time, their elders, their grandparents was able to get ahead in the game just because our grandpas couldn't get in there. They couldn't get into schools. They couldn't get into jobs. They couldn't get into industries. They couldn't get into neighborhoods. So you have all of these different advantages anyway. So of course we have to collaborate with them because of the way they've set the system up. But just being dependent on people you say that hate you, it just makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
It makes zero absolute sense. I'm not about to make this shit harder for me. We make it harder for ourselves knowing that it's already hard. Like I said, we gonna keep on continuing to say we our biggest enemy. That's dumb as fuck because the moment that we say kumbaya, we gonna still have them niggas. If we all decide to say tomorrow we love each other, we gonna still have them niggas. If we all decide to do the right shit tomorrow, all get married, all do the right thing, them niggas still gonna be fighting us. We ain't the biggest enemy our damn selves. We our biggest distraction. Us infighting, us trying to beef with each other, that's our biggest distraction. Against the fact that no nigga, they got a whole system waiting on your ass after you decide you want to love each other. That ain't your biggest issue. You're gonna still have them niggas right there waiting at the door.
Yeah. You know, when I look at people, because the system is in place, right? And we all are a part of it in different ways in terms of acknowledging it, from paying taxes and etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we take advantage of it? You know, I see capitalism in a way in which you can take advantage of it if you can find a niche. You know, if you can do a thing well. You know, I have now 13 black men, a couple Latinos, well, two specifically. He's Dominican. I think they're Dominican and black, but work for me, right? And I'm not saying that to lord over them. I'm just saying that they do the moving for me. Like I just had a phone call, you know. But I'm able to pay these guys a living wage when Texas minimum wage is $7.50, and I can pay them $20 an hour. That changes their lifestyle. They changes their life, their circumstances, you know, and they have benefits and etc. Right? Because I found a niche that I'm good at, right? And so now I can pull those other brothers up, right? Because in capitalism, in the capitalistic society, especially Texas, which is easy on small businesses, you know, that's how we have to take advantage of it, you know. And when I'm saying preparation in that way, so we can help each other feed each other, you know, when we outside teaching, we very ordered and structured. And so many boys walk by, and I could see they be like, they kind of like keen to it because they're not accustomed to seeing it, you know. But I'm not telling nobody go to war. You see, I'm saying be prepared for anything up to and including having to fight for your life or defend yourself with your life. Right? Because we so complacent. But they get off on this shit, you know? You see the obsession, right? And even as the minority, you only need 5%, 10% of white people, right? Because there's so many of them to feel some type of way. now you got real smoke on your hands. Right? So just be uberly 3%. Thank you, Tarush. Right. So be mentally prepared, physically prepared, and capable. Take advantage of all the rights that you have open to you. Right. The amendments, right, with the gun laws, take advantage of it. Right. How many states now have constitutional carry? Right. Take advantage of it.
That even if like I said, that relocation thing, you don't need to like even if you need to move somewhere where you can have a firearm. Some people that live places where they can't even have them. I ain't never doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of work. We are definitely complacent in captivity. Oh, you muted. But even just the strong minds coming together as Black men, I feel like I just saw a conversation with like two strong Black minds, and it kind of went a little left on how they feel like what we should be doing, and I feel like that should need to start happening behind the scenes, because it's like we can't even meet.
Was it smart?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like I was like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? And I just hated that. I was like, I wish this wasn't on camera.
Yeah, because I knew it too, and I'll tell you about it. But yeah, so damn, hey, bro, this is a good convo. I got to get on this plane. We got to do a part 2 of it, right? But I think they catch the gist of it. You know, look at what's out there. There's an obvious obsession. Now these are content creators. They found a way to make money. You know. And so it is what it is. It is what it's gonna be. She's gonna get support regardless, just like the lady who raised $1 million for calling little boy a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just be keen, you know. And we starting to say, hey, look at all the stats. Don't just keep looking at the same old 2019 stats. Let's look at everything and see what is violent and what is the residual effect of you being violent in different ways. Me and you got smoke. I shoot you. You shoot me. I understand that, right? You can almost even justify, hey, the nigga was trying to shoot me, so I shot them, right? You know, but rape, molestation, people can't come back from that even if you don't physically kill them, right? But that's been ignored for so long. When people keep putting stats in our faces, we need to start analyzing them and scrutinizing them, make sure they're applied correctly and understood, you know? So it's just a lot of things that we got to process in a different way. So look at the obsession understand the obsession and make sure that you can identify it every time it come across your face.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's just good to take note. Okay, I see it. You don't have to overreact. You don't have to over-respond. You know? But it's important that we start understanding stuff more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, definitely. Don't be delusional about it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, of course, Black issues going to always be in front of your face because you're Black. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But don't ever get so wrapped up in that you're delusional, like these other people are just so more morally just. And when history don't say that.
Yeah. We never seen that, you know? And let's continue to hold each other accountable. We got to keep doing better in our communities, you know? But if we're doing okay, say that. And if we're not, say that, you know?
Thanks.
I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing. I see y'all tonight for the POV. We're going to have a blast because a couple people got some explaining to do from Sunday's show. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man. Like, share, subscribe.
Tell a friend and tell a friend. We out.